So Seth, over the last few years especially, we've had many clients that have had a loved one pass away, and it's always extremely emotional. And I know the first thing we tell them is do not make any rash decisions during this time period. What other advice would you give our clients when this happens?
The first thing that I always tell them is the same thing you always tell them. Do not make any big decisions. Typically, if I go to a viewing or if they call in, I say, please put us at the bottom of your to-do list. For all of our clients, we have a plan, and it's very simple. Now, for a lot of spouses, it can be hard because they might not be the person that was ever in charge of the money, and that can provide some unique challenges.
So I know when you and I started working together, you told me about a story that impacted your career choice and why you felt like this was the industry for you. Tell me about that story.
Yeah, that's a very personal story that I actually didn't share with people for several years. You were one of the first people I told it to because it was a very emotional story. When I had started in this industry, I thought it was all about math. But the further I got into this industry, I realized that the math is the easy part, but it's the human connections and the emotion behind them that is important. That first story that I told you was, I'd had this prospect. We had talked about his 401k, we had talked about what to do with it. He just never got around to doing it after he retired. And we had laid out this plan, but then he ended up getting cancer. And they made a decision as a couple to spend most of their life savings on some treatments for him that were not covered by their insurance. And I got a phone call from her best friend, and she said, I just want you to know that Mr. So-and-so passed away today. And I said, I'm so sorry to hear that. And she said, well, the reason I'm calling you is because, Mrs. So-and-so had taken a milk carton crate full of documents into the hospital that morning when he was about to pass, and she wanted to go over all of it because they had not done any planning. They had totally focused on his care and just using the money they had. And he said, we only have a few hours left together. Just take it all to Seth and he'll take care of you.
Yeah.
And so when you have the opportunity to be that ingrained in those moments in people's lives, it's a pretty powerful moment.
It is. It is.
We've worked with many widows, and you can read all the financial planning books that you want, but it does not prepare you for the needs of a widow. It's as simple as if they need their gutters replaced or they need their driveway repaved, the quote that they get might be twice as much.
Right.
And it almost seems like no matter what budget we give our widows, they spend more. So we've really had to dig down into the psychology of money and what money means to these people so that they can live these lives to where they still get the freedom that they want, but they don't accidentally overspend. Because to keep up a household as one person is much more difficult. And each person in a household naturally has the things that they do around the house and with the money. And when that's all put on you, especially if you don't have children and your support network close by, it can create a lot of unique challenges. And I feel like you and I do a great job of not only helping people, but protecting them from a lot of the situations that are out there.
So if someone finds themselves the person with the milk crate and they don't have a plan in place like our clients do, what should they do? Should they reach out to us? How can we help them? What is their next step?
There's not a lot of things that you have to do right away. It's just gathering up those items, and figuring out what to gather up is very overwhelming. So when these referrals that have just lost a spouse call in, you tell them, like, bring us in this. Make sure you get this many raised seal death certificates. So we can help kind of coach them through that process in a very systematic way. And we can kind of eat the apple one bite at a time and keep it from being overwhelming. When these people call in, you really do a fantastic job just helping them step through the process piece by piece.
Thank you. And I think this is going to be beneficial for our clients, and they are going to understand how much we do care and that we truly are here just to help them walk through whatever journey that they're facing.